the a-hole for feeling bridal shower sideswiped? Both of my nieces are getting married this fall, 1 month apart. I asked the other aunt at a dress fitting when the bridal showers are, not knowing anything about them or who was even throwing one. She responded with the dates. I said, if you need some help with planning or something, let me know. That was the end of that conversation. Jump ahead 2 months. I get a text message from the aunt stating that the invitations are $150 for each niece's shower. I responded with, I didn't know I was helping because I haven't heard anything about it recently. She proceeds to tell me that the girls wanted this and wanted that, and so it's all planned, and if I wanted to help out financially, that would be great. They booked expensive venues for our area, expensive food and invites. Each shower will run about $1,000 each, and I'm expected to pay for half of each. So wait, you asked them about it, they didn't give you any updates, and then reached out to you randomly and asked you to financially help? I was not involved in any of the decisions, ideas, plans, or anything. I'm just told to pay for something I never even knew I was technically involved in. I said a shower is thrown for someone, not the brides planning their own and someone picking up the tab. I think it's absolutely rude and selfish to assume this. This is definitely a bit sketchy. Like, should have at least communicated with you and given you a chance to understand like what they wanted if you were going to help out. You're not obligated to help out. They aren't entitled to your help. There should have been communication before this. I told the other aunt I would pitch in $150 per niece, and that was all because I was never consulted on anything and I would never agree to any of these extravagant things. I'm also on a budget and know I could throw a very nice shower for under $300. She said things are more expensive in this day and age, and any more help than that would be nice. If I had agreed to any of this, it would have been maybe something I would be more willing to help on. But I was not even consulted. I think the lack of communication is the big issue here. Apparently, I'm just good enough to pay the tab, but that's all. I can understand why you feel upset about this. That's not fair for them to not involve you in any of the planning, or at least talk to you about it, at least communicate about it, and then just show up and be like, oh, give us money. That's not cool. First, I feel the brides do not really get a say on their shower, where or how it's planned. They should be given a date and told to show up. I don't know, does it depend on like the area? Second, I don't feel obligated to pitch in for half the expenses when I was not consulted at all before it was all planned by the nieces and other aunt. All of a sudden, I'm the bad guy. Am I the a-hole? Added context. Around 40-ish people invited. My aerial is rural Midwest. A typical shower is something like a couple of games, a meat and cheese tray, some fruit, drinks, and a cake. A Facebook invite and gifts for the bride, usually at a friend's backyard or a church/community center. They, the brides, planned a winery, full menu, expensive invites, a far cry from a typical shower for my area. And I would have gladly pitched in some more of the cost, but I have been completely left out of all the decisions and just expected to pay. I think that's my bigger issue. For not being included at all, I shouldn't technically even have to pitch in any money. I agree on that. It would have been one thing if they would have communicated with you and then had a chance to actually like deliberate and talk to each other about it, so that you just knew what each other's expectations are, at least. I don't like that they just left you out of all the planning. It's almost like they knew that you weren't going to agree with it, in my personal opinion. But let's see what Reddit has to say. Planning your own bridal shower is a tacky gift grab, not the a-hole. No, you're not the a-hole. My shower was in a friend's home and they had IR catered from my favorite restaurant. Probably spent under $500 and I loved it because people cared enough to celebrate me. Showers are out of hand and asking someone who had no say in it to bankroll it is rude AF. In response to, I said if you need help with planning or something, let me know. That was the end of that. She didn't let you know, so the $150 is the or something, not the a-hole. Actually, brides today are a lot more entitled than they used to be. They want expensive venues for showers, destination bachelorette parties, huge weddings, and extravagant honeymoons. You're offering to contribute what you can afford. Your aunt has no right telling you that you need to pay more. I agree. Not the a-hole, my dear. I'm sorry you got sideswiped on that. That's not cool, and I hope that you guys are able to work through this moving forward with better communication.